For Arav, the world began with the weight and the rough edges of a brick. With a bedridden father and a mother laboring in other people's kitchens, his childhood wasn't measured in years, but in the number of loads he could carry before the sun went down. This environment exerts a constant passive pressure. It is designed to drain a person's energy on basic survival, leaving nothing left for ambition. It's a weight that tries to exhaust you before you even have a chance to stand up. Then comes the social friction. When he tried to bridge two worlds, hauling heavy loads by day and opening a book by night, the village didn't offer a hand, they offered mockery. To them, a laborer holding a book was a joke that hadn't landed yet. When the exhaustion of the body meets the ridicule of the neighbors, it creates a compounding force. Most people don't stop because they lack talent. They stop because the weight simply becomes too heavy to hold alone. Poverty functions as a closed loop. A lack of resources leads to a loss of opportunity, and that loss only feeds the next deficit. Without an outside force, the cycle just spins deeper into the dark. Arav cracked that circle by finding the only resource that didn't cost a cent, the orange glow of a solitary village street lamp. While the village slept, he sat on the dirt shoulder of the road. That single bulb was his only ally, providing a small pocket of light in a landscape of total systemic darkness. The street lamp proved something to him before it proved it to the world. His internal willpower was the only thing in the village that didn't have a price tag. The first real test arrived as a rumor as a job in the city, but the city required a bus ticket, and a bus ticket required money he didn't have. To get it, he had to trade his own health. He spent weeks working double shifts on an empty stomach, rerouting the money meant for his own meals into a small, crumpled fund for the fare. This was the math of his survival. He was betting his literal starvation against the slim chance of a different life. Every skipped meal was a few more miles towards the city. When he finally boarded that bus, he was thinner and weaker than he'd ever been, but he held a slip of paper that the village said he'd never touch. He had learned a brutal lesson early. To move forward, you sometimes have to use your own body as the fuel for the journey. The city was more efficient at cruelty than the village. He was cheated of his first week's wages and mocked for his tattered clothes. The physical hunger was gone, but it was replaced by a deep, isolating sense that he didn't belong. It culminated in a dark alley during a summer storm. Drenched and penniless, the sound of the rain was the only thing louder than the voice in his head telling him to go home and admit the village was right. When there is no external evidence that you will succeed, you have to manufacture your own. You need an internal anger that doesn't move, even when everything else is washed away. He whispered his own contract into the dark. Agar aaj dard se liya, to kal puri dunya mein naam janegi. If I can just survive the pain of today, tomorrow the world will have no choice but to learn my name. That sentence became a shield. It didn't make the rain stop or the hunger go away, but it made them irrelevant. Success didn't arrive in a single moment. It was built in the invisible hours. It was a decade of staying late to study logistics, the second-hand textbooks read on crowded subways, and the years of being the first to arrive and the last to leave. He took the city's resistance and wore it down, one promotion at a time. The boy who once carried bricks now manages the firms that buy them. The fragility is gone, replaced by the quiet confidence of someone who has already seen his worst day. Back in the village, the story has changed. The people who once laughed now point to his old walking path as a landmark. They didn't change their minds. He changed their reality. You don't beat the world by arguing with it. You beat it by making your progress so undeniable that the world has to rewrite its own story to include you. Today, Arav stands in front of what's left of his beginning, a small hut made of mud and straw. He doesn't feel pity for the boy who lived here. He feels gratitude. This ruin was the gym where his willpower was trained. Without the weight of these bricks, he never would have developed the strength to build anything else. He looks at the dirt where he used to sit and remembers the choice he made every night. Garibi meri majboori thi, had maan lena nahi. The poverty was a circumstance of my birth, but giving up, that would have been a choice.
A difficult start isn't a debt you have to pay back for the rest of your life. It's the raw material. If you can endure the heat of the struggle, you can turn those same bricks into a foundation